I'm Brant Bjork, and you're watching RAMzine.
Nice to see you. You've played or playing a number of roles in different bands. How did Low Desert Punks come to be? How did it all kind of come together as an idea?
You know, I just got really excited about returning to my own trip, and I wanted to kind of, you know, I just had a fire in me to kind of just, you know, create what to me is like my version of a punk rock band.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so I got Tony Ternay on drums and Dave Dinsmore on bass. They're old friends of mine from the desert, and Bubba Dupree on guitar, and I've known Bubba throughout the years, and you know, he's a cool cat and a fantastic guitar player, and we all have punk rock roots, and we all want to rock, you know. So it's kind of like our version of punk rock, you know.
Brilliant. So it's been also exactly the way that you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. That's what everybody wants, isn't it? Fantastic. How does the band sound differ from what you've done previously? Because obviously you've been quite an expansive lot of stuff you've done prior to.
Well, everyone, you know, these guys are players that have been around for years, and so they have their own individual styles and sounds, and I wanted to kind of incorporate that with this whole. I mean, I assembled this band and wrote the music for this record, knowing that that's what was needed and wanted and should be and all that. So
you had a really clear vision of what you wanted to do.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Excellent. It feels like some of the influences this time are sort of pretty primary character. You've got some like real old school sort of influences in there. Would you say, is anybody in particular?
Well, I mean, you know, in keeping the spirit of things, I mean, it was just all about returning to my roots as a kid. You know, the music that kind of got me all fired up. And it might not be sounds that you hear on the record, but just the essence. You know,
mm-hmm.
bands like like the Stooges and the Ramones and Black Flag and stuff like that. You know,
the stuff that you sort of came up with and
the stuff that I was listening to when I was like a trippy, freaky, pissed off 13-year-old.
Kid in the desert. Awesome. Okay, so just before you came here to the UK, you played a load of European dates, I think Stockholm and a few others. How does the European crowd differ from the UK? What do you find over there?
Well, every country is different.
Okay.
Every country has a temperament, every country has a vibe and a personality as a culture. And
mm-hmm.
so when you're bouncing from Germany to Italy and to France and to Scandinavia, everyone, all the crowds are different.
Different vibe.
Yeah, and the UK is unique in its own way as well. So to go into details of what those differences are, it can take some time. But it's all good.
Excellent, excellent. What are you most looking forward about the UK leg of the tour?
Well, I just really enjoy the UK because it's, for such a small country in terms of landmass, it just has produced such amazing amounts of great music.
Mm-hmm.
So I always feel honored to be able to come here and play music here as well.
Cool.
And
sort of a musical institution.
It is. I'm sure the UK has lots to offer the world, but for me, it just when I'm here, I always think about all the British greats.
You clearly have a talent for a number of instruments. Are you one of those guys who can just pretty much, if you see an instrument, you can pick it up and you'll work something out with it, like be it drums or guitar or a harp or like anything?
Not really. I can bounce around on a piano, but I wouldn't say I could play the piano. I could just play guitar and drums.
Okay, cool.
Bounce around on the bass, I learned what I needed to learn to be able to make some rock records. Yeah, that's about it.
Fair days. It was drums that started you off, wasn't it? Was it musically?
Yeah, I started with drums.
Yeah. When did you start playing? Did you pick up the sticks?
I mean, I used to beat on pots and pans when I was a kid, probably.
Knee-high.
10, maybe 10.
Okay, cool. You recently signed to Napalm Records and you've got a new album out in November. Are you having kind of a full-on launch, or are you kind of just going in subtle, or is there a plan for that?
Yeah, well, I mean, the whole reason behind signing with Napalm was to, I've done things myself for many years, and Napalm just kept tugging on my shirt for a while.
Right.
And they made me an offer that was really, really solid. So, and you know, for me, it's a licensing deal with the hopes that they can do what they say they're going to do in terms of, you know, distributing. I mean, you know, 'cause I obviously live in California, so it's like, in, you know, a great deal of what I do happens here in Europe. They're a European-based company, of course. So, like, it only makes sense on certain levels that, like, hey, I'm gonna send you some stuff and let's see what you can do with it. So, so far things seem to be rolling out pretty positively. Let's just see what happens. You know, the record comes out next month. We'll see what happens.
And you've been obviously touring at the moment. You never really seem to stop. There's always something going on for you. It's like no downtime. What does 2015 hold for you? Any plans for next year?
Yeah, we'll come back to Europe. We already got some festivals lined up and stuff.
Excellent.
And maybe do some dates in the States again. And then, you know, and then we're already talking about another record. You know,
Brilliant.
You know, it's like,
not slowing down.
Well, you know, it's like, it's my work, it's my job. I gotta go to work, man. I'm not one of those musicians that has the luxury of, if it even can be considered a luxury of like saying, well, I'm gonna take a year and a half off and comfortably sit around, you know.
Sit in my mansion on my millions.
Yeah, you know, it's like, now I gotta roll up my sleeves and go to work, man.